The number of Syrians who have fled to Latin America is still relatively small, about 10,000 or less. Compare that to up to 500,000 who have fled to Turkey. Here to discuss Latin America's role in helping Syrian refugees is Christian Visnes. He is a regional director for the Norwegian Refugee Council in Colombia, and he is live with us in Bogota. Let's begin where you are, Colombia. The Colombian government says it has accepted every Syrian refugee who sought asylum there. What's the situation for refugees in Colombia, would you say?
Well, Colombia is primarily a country where people leave and have to seek protection elsewhere. The Colombian internal armed conflict is a 50 years old armed conflict, and UNHCR estimates that more than 400,000 Colombians are in need of international protection. So Colombia, it's not at this point a country where a lot of refugees are seeking protection at this point. Nevertheless, the changing situation in Colombia is the improvement that we've seen here for the last few years. The fact there is a peace process ongoing is also now making Colombia a place where people in need of protection are coming, as in this case with Syrians.
Let me ask you about the situation there. They say they're accepting of any Syrians who've applied to come there. But in Uruguay, more refugees are set to arrive soon, and it's become kind of a hot button issue there. Can you talk a little bit more about how this is being played out in other areas there in Latin America?
Well, this is, of course, as in any situation, it's a political situation many times when this comes up. I think in Uruguay, despite having now a hot discussion internally on this situation, they have many come across as an example, as they are receiving Syrian refugees. And I think for many countries, it many times depends on the country's size and their ability to give a refugee to a certain number of people. Of course, in the case of Colombians, which is the greatest number of refugees on the continent, Uruguay has also been an example and have received Colombians that have been resettled from the neighboring countries. But this is a hot contested issue, as it is in many parts of the world.
Christian, depending on my level of confidence, it's either un poquito or no habla español. I'm thinking if you're coming from Syria speaking Spanish, that's got to be a major difficulty to overcome, I would think.
Well, it is, of course, but I think it is important to remember also that there are a history of receiving refugees in the continent, and both from Europe, from the Middle East, and from the immediate neighborhood. There are huge or quite big communities of Lebanese and Syrians from previous conflicts, both in Colombia and in Brazil. So there are also networks, but nevertheless, for refugees, it's an extreme challenge to come to a new country, to come to a region where they don't even manage the language. So that is always quite a big challenge for any refugee.
Christian Visnes joining us from Bogota. Thanks so much.